What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday. It's Justin from Creator Wizard. If you're new here, again, my name is Justin Moore. I'm the founder of Creator Wizard, where I help you find and negotiate your dream sponsorship. So excited to chat about today's topic, which is all about how to pre-sell a course. This is a little bit of a behind the scenes thing today because I just got done pre-selling a course over the Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. So if you're tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. I'm going to pull up my IG chat here so I can see who's in there as well. Yeah, let me know where you what you're going to be doing this weekend. Let's see. We got let's see here. All That She Dreamed, Nadia Special, 3 others joining in the IG chat. So thank you for doing that. Thanks for being here. All right, so today, again, I'm excited because I prepared a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about because there was a lot that I learned. Okay, so the reason I kind of wanted to do, first of all, like the reason I wanted to talk about this is that I know I've actually had a lot of creators ask me about this whole process about launching a course, because maybe you know, have considered launching a course or some sort of paid product in the past, and like, what is that process like? Because when I first started creating content online, I really was not like, courses were really not even on my mind. It was not something that I was like, oh, I'm gonna like make a course. It was like, no, I just wanted to like create content to like help like help people you know, with their creator businesses. That was really the extent of it. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is like how I got the idea. Hey, Miss Rightway, thanks for tuning in. So like how I got the idea. So let's talk about that, because I think that's like a that's like the first major thing that a lot of people like ask about, is like how do I even like think of something that I could create a course around, or like that I could charge money for, this type of thing. For me, the idea came from understanding my audience, right? So when I first started posting content on social media, you know, again, like I said, I just wanted to help people. And so the first people that who asked me for help were creators who already had experience working with brands on paid partnerships. So I assumed that that was my audience, because that was the people who was like leaving comments, and those are the people who were emailing me and DMing me and things like that. And so when people started asking me for much more detailed help, I created my Brand Deal Wizard course. That was the course that I've run, 4 times now. The major learning from that was that when I launched that, I had way more people come out of the woodwork saying, hey, I want to take a course from you, but I really have no idea what I'm doing, right? I don't have a lot of experience working with, like brands or paid partnerships. And so I realized that I have 2 major segments to my audience. So I have the intermediate and like experienced creators that I designed the first course for, and then aspiring creators. Right. So, every time, basically what I learned is that every time someone would DM me or email me asking for help, they would almost always fit into one of those 2 buckets. Right. And so kind of the way that I look at my, I guess, course strategy is that the new course, gifted to paid, will help take people from, let's say, like 0 to 1. And my Brand Deal Wizard course will take them from 1 to infinity, basically. And so that's kind of how I got the idea, is just really trying to understand, like, segment my audience and understand like who is actually in there. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Yas, Rebecca, Jace Deal, Essentially Tim, Job B. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. D and Fam, Tech Audit TV, 5 o'clock shadow looking fresh. Yeah, that's exactly right. I have not. Brandon, I have not shaved in several days because my wife likes when I don't shave. I feel I don't even know. I can't handle it, but she says keep it. So when the wife says keep it, I keep it. Patrick Sterling, thanks for tuning in. Patrick says, I feel great about rolling out a course eventually, but I've got a long list of relevant things I need to learn myself so I can make the course as thorough as I want. I want to save this question because this is something I hear very commonly, Patrick, and I want to talk about that because I'm really glad you brought that up. Hey, Hannity, thanks for tuning in. Okay, so let's talk about course validation, how I actually validated that this is something that people wanted before I did all the work. Will people actually like pay money for something like this? So honestly, my main validation, first of all, was like people messaging me after I released my first course. But To be completely candid, this beta workshop that I'm pulling together is going to be validation for me. So for those of you who aren't familiar, basically what so my initial plan was to release this course as a fully fledged, like on demand, bingeable course, that you could consume, right? Like at your leisure. But then I had a conversation with another course creator who said, why don't you just do it like live once, get a bunch of feedback to make it even better, and then record it and release it on demand? And I like that made a whole lot of sense to me, right? Especially because, that's how I've been improving my Brando Wizard course all along. So, my Brando Wizard course is cohort based, which means that I teach it live every single week over Zoom. And from the first cohort that I did in January, like 2021 to now, the course is completely different. Like, for example, I have shortened it from 6 weeks to 4 weeks. That's a major structural change. I've added a ton of like supplemental materials and downloadables. I added stuff to my curriculum. I actually removed stuff that people didn't, find super actionable. So again, like validation is absolutely critical, because the last thing that you want, to do is, I just got an eyelash in my eye. Oh my God. The last thing that you want to do is, like spend months and months crafting what you think is going to be like this perfect course, and you're like in a vacuum, and then you release it and nobody cares and nobody wants it and no one's going to buy it, right? So that's like the absolute thing that you have to try to avoid as a creator. And so that's validation. And then another major thing that I wanted to talk about is like, how did I decide how much to charge? Like, how do you figure out how to like price something like this? And so I think this is one of the toughest parts about releasing a course. So I read so much about this aspect, and here's basically my thoughts. So there's two major factors when it comes to pricing strategy: how you want to position your brand. So like, let's say at a premium price, right? So, essentially like, let's say like $500 plus, or like that's one strategy, or at a volume price, which is, let's say $10 to $100, right? And then, so that's like the first major factor. And then the second factor is the price sensitivity of your audience. What can they afford, right? So for example, if let's say your audience is investment bankers, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up, right? Then if you came out with a product that was like $19, do you think that's going to be perceived as something that's high quality? Probably not, right? Whereas if you came up with something that was $10,000, okay, well now people's ears are going to perk up, right? So, hello, we got the cameo. Come here, boo.
Hi, friends.
April's here, guys.
Hi.
Look at how beautiful she looks.
Yay, Dia and Fam, Hannity. Hi, friends. Sorry, I'm here crashing Justin's life just for 2 seconds.
That's okay. I'm talking about how I pre-sold my course, actually.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anyone that knows everything about getting sponsorships, it's Justin. Yeah.
Thanks for being my hype woman.
No, honestly, I talked to like my old YouTube friends from like 10 years ago, and I'm like, I got this much on a brand deal, because we are very open about the money and how much we're making. I think it's actually really good if you talk about money with your friends, if you do the same thing. Like, we're both YouTubers, and so we were talking about like the pricing of, and we both have like kind of the same following, and she was like, what? I would pee my pants. I would I would poop myself if I got paid that much money. And I said, honey, you should have been getting paid that much money. Like, you know what I mean? So like, it's just good to talk about it, because people need to learn like what they're worth.
You look so good in brown, decent.
Oh, thank you. It's olive. It's by Nayway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nayway. Yeah. Nayway. Sorry. I keep saying it wrong. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Nayway.
And the other, what are your thoughts on like, oh God, I totally forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, guys, by the way, I got to tell a real quick story, but do you see this mug? This is my water mug. Tell a story about how we got
Why are you drinking that? That's my mug. Like,
because it was the first, it was on the counter. I had to grab it right before the live. Let me tell this story real quick. So let me tell you about how amazing our son is. Our son gets like points in his class, like for being like on good behavior and like things like that, or like money. Actually, it's not points; it's like money, class money. And every like 2 weeks, they do like a auction.
I gotta go, baby.
Oh, you gotta go, baby. Alrighty. Oh, okay. Love you, honey.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
I gotta
Have fun.
go. Just want to say hi. Well, just
love you.
About that for 5 hours.
I love this story. Love you. Bye. So yeah, so this it looks like a stein, like I would be at Oktoberfest or something like that, right? So our 7-year-old son, used his every time he has the auction at his school, and the teachers will, it'll be like random little things, like use things that other kids bring in, because you can like donate stuff and get more class cash or whatever, to use on other items. And he, every single auction, he always purchases things for other people, like us and a family. He never buys things for himself. He all like this mug he bought for April. He's like, honey, like, mommy, I thought you would really like this. Or he would buy me like a little bag, or like he bought April like this little like purse one time. It was just like our son. That's our like, oh man, it hits me right in the feels. So this mug he bought, it's like a Stein mug. I don't even know where he got it, but yeah, he bought this with his class. So it's like a very prized mug in our family, because that was our 7-year-old son bought that for April. So I thought that was really cute. Anyways, what was I mentioning? What were we talking about? Oh, real quickly before we dive back into it, Tech Audit TV. I ran an in-person digital marketing boot camp for a few years, and I decided to launch an online version, and it struggled. Capital struggled. Biggest mistake was that I didn't pre-sell it. So this topic gets a big amen from me. Yeah, man, I feel it. Yeah, I mean this happens a lot, I think, and I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing that, because there's nothing. I don't want to like, not to like rub salt in the wounds or anything, but like truly, like, can you think of anything more demoralizing than spending months and months and months on something, pouring your blood, sweat, and tears into it, and then releasing it and not being able to figure out a way to get traction like that? That would be really, really tough. And so I'm like, validation is just so critical. So anyway, so yeah, okay. So we were talking about pricing. So we were talking about just the price sensitivity of your audience and how critical that is. Like, here's the thing. Like, I've talked about this like in the lens of brand sponsorship negotiation, right? And like knowing your worth. In my opinion, the lower that you price yourself, the less perceived value people will assign to it, right? And so if you offer something for free, they're not going to get value out of it, or they won't value it, right? But when you make them drop, down a significant amount of money, people will pay it much closer attention. And in my experience, there's a much higher chance that they will put in the work because they want to get a return on their investment, right? So if you're a creator that has a very big audience, let's say, right, and you think that, a volume play makes more sense, then, perhaps going with a lower price point is fine, right? And so it actually gets pretty complicated quickly, because there are these like schools of thought out there called pricing ladders, where you start with an offer that is very inexpensive, let's say like $5 or $10 or something like that. And it's basically just lead generation, right? It's basically just to see who is willing to pay any sort of money for information or for anything, and who will never do that. Right? They'll always, those people will always only consume your free content. And by the way, that's okay. I honestly do not care if anyone who ever watches me pays me a dime, because my mission is to help as many creators as possible find and negotiate their dream sponsorships. Right? So I know that there will always be a percentage who will want more detailed help, whether that's courses or coaching or workshops or whatever. Right? And so for me, helping people is what I do. And the direct byproduct of that is that I will make money. It's not the other way around. And I think that that's a really important point that you have to consider if you may want to launch a course, or, sell something directly to your audience or anything like that. The transformation that you will help people achieve has to always be your number one focus. Right? And basically, I think if you obsess over that, then the money will come. Right? So anyways, I wanted to start off this live by talking about that today, because I got some questions about that. And I thought it might be just kind of interesting to people. Yeah, the other thing that Dee said is that sometimes the timing is a big factor on a launch. That's very true, and they probably view it as an investment when they pay a specific price versus a little spend. Yeah, that's very true. And you know, the other one of the other things that I did, Dee, was that I in my brand deal Intel email blast yesterday, I sent out a survey. So for if you guys are on my email list and you didn't sign up for the workshop, you probably saw a survey, and there was a 1-question survey. And by the way, the people who it was really cool because the people who signed up for the workshop didn't get that survey. I was able to like code it in the newsletter so that they didn't, you know, the people who signed up weren't going to get a survey like that. But yeah, the vast majority of people who didn't, sign up for the workshop got that survey. And it basically, there was like, let me actually pull it up because this is actually, I think, kind of an interesting part of this whole thing. Here, let me see here. Here, let me share my screen real quick. Share screen. Here. Okay, so let me move this into the middle of the screen so folks in the IG chat can see, hopefully. But would you be willing to share with me the number one reason you decided not to sign up for my gifted to paid workshop? Click to answer the 1-question survey below. So schedule conflict, couldn't attend it live, too expensive, too focused on beginner or aspiring creators, and that I have more experience. Oop, people in the IG chat can't see it, so let me move it over here. Prefer self-study. I'm too busy. I missed the enrollment window, or other courses I took sucked, and not sure this will be any different. So this was very, very fascinating to me because I actually emailed the people directly who answered certain parts of this. For example, for the people that answered schedule conflict or prefer self-study or too busy, those 3 things, those are all, to me, answers related to time-related things, right? And I emailed them and I said, hey, did you know that the recordings or the replays, there will be replays available for this course? Would you still like to enroll? I can still, you know, the course doesn't start or the workshop doesn't start until the 14th. I can slide you in, right? If it's like maybe they didn't know that there would be recordings, right? So it's like, this is like, also, I got some people who said other courses I took sucked. Not sure this will be any different. So I emailed those people and I said, hey, can you tell me specifically what it is about those courses that sucked? Because my number one goal is to like create transformative experiences for the creators that I educate. And so any insight that you could give me about that would be very helpful, I think. And so I got some amazing responses to these things, right? So it's like, these are all like things that you can start doing. Like when you are a creator, if you're starting to offer courses and things like that, to get feedback directly from your followers and the people who, didn't, choose to sign up for your courses and things like that. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to show that behind the scenes too, because I think it's kind of interesting. Just a really good way to like, get additional intel from the people that follow you. So yeah, so the other I wanted to pull up, and by the way, what I want to mention, I want to chat about Patrick's comment earlier. But if you have any questions about brand partnerships or courses or, monetizing your expertise and your influence and things like that, that's all fair game today too. So let me pull up Patrick's question again. Hey, Living Letter Home. Hey, Sarah, Mira, what's going on? Blended Beauty, Ria, thanks for tuning in the IG chat. So Patrick said, I feel great about rolling out a course eventually, but I've got a long list of relevant things I need to learn myself so I can make the course as thorough as I want. So the comment that I wanted to make about this, Patrick, was that I hear this from a lot of creators, which is like, oh, well, I feel like I need to develop or hone my expertise before I can teach other people about something. And what I have found is that you are always a little bit further ahead in your journey than someone else. And that's all that matters. If you can help some segment of people who follow you or some audience or someone out there, if you can help them, like, for example, what am I doing on this live stream right now? I'm not a course expert. I've only been doing courses for less than a year, like almost a year now. Right. And so yet I have learned so much. I would definitely not consider myself an expert in that I know everything, but I definitely have learned a lot, and I definitely could help people avoid mistakes. You saw Brandon Tech Audit TV even say this whole idea about course validation. Like if I could help someone like like hear that nugget and realize like, wow, I should probably not spend like 6 months, recording a course and like just like releasing it before I validate it or before I talk to people to see if this is something they would actually want to like participate in. If one creator could hear me say that and avoid doing that, like I've done my job. Right. And so the point here, Patrick, is that I bet you know a lot about your subject matter expert. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's DaVinci Resolve. Is that your expertise? I think I remember you saying that. Like I bet you anything that there are people in your audience, even though you don't feel like an expert or don't feel like. And the other thing too is that you don't have to be a nuts to bolt expert in the topic, right? Like so, like let's say it's DaVinci Resolve again. I think that's your niche. Like you don't have to know everything there is to know about it. Maybe you just create some sort of like workshop. It's like a, like related to like the feature that cold, right? So, like I just would encourage you that, you don't need to like wait until you're an expert to, like be able to like have people pay you for your expertise. Again, there's always people out there. I guarantee you there's people in your audience who are, a year behind you or whatever, that would love to pay you for your expertise to get on a Zoom call with you for an hour to help them figure out some issue that they're having with DaVinci Resolve or something, right? So maybe it's not a course, maybe it's you're doing like coaching or something. To like, or people can like pay you a couple $100 for an hour of your time to help you figure out an issue where they're particularly stuck. So I just wanted to mention that because I am like a really, really big fan of like leaning into your expertise as a creator, even if you're not like a purely educational creator and you create lifestyle content and things like that. There are always people out there who will, there are, I believe that everyone has a product in them like that you could sell directly to your followers. I really, truly do. So I think sometimes it takes a little bit of like, thinking. Sweet Melly Bakery, hey, thanks for tuning in. She said you're definitely an expert. Thank you, Melissa. I feel like that. I'm not. I definitely don't feel like an expert in courses, but I feel very. This is weird to say, but I definitely feel like an expert in brand sponsorships. I have no qualm saying that. Like I've been doing this. I've done so many now by this point that I definitely feel like an expert, and so that's definitely. Love you, honey. Oh, I thought you were leaving earlier. Oh, you had to eat. Okay, dang. Okay, love you. Drive safely. Okay. Love you. I will. Love you. April has this lip plumper lipstick, so I have to like wipe off her kisses because otherwise my lips will start burning. Hey, fourth born child, thanks for tuning in all the way from the Philippines. And Bob Burner in the chat on IG. So hopefully this is helpful to someone. Like I have gotten like numerous messages from people over like like this one thing that you said on this live stream finally clicked for me. That's the other really interesting thing about showing up on social media for I think it's important for you guys to hear this as well, is that as many times as you may feel like you've said something and that you've like beat the drum over and over about something, like for example, this is like one thing that I say a lot that feels like I say it all the time, but like so I oftentimes tell creators, I say, do not be a creator, be a consultant, right? You've probably, those of you guys who are on the chat consistently hear me say this a lot, which is that don't just be like another creator who DMs a brand and be like, hey, I love your brand, I would love to collaborate, right? No, that's not you. You're going to do a customized proposal. You're going to, research the types of campaigns that they were doing last year. You're going to craft a very compelling pitch that incorporates your organic content, right? It's my rope framework that I teach in my courses. And so I feel like I've talked about that like to death. Like I say that over and over and over and over. And yet I still have people who message me and saying, thank you so much for talking about that. I've never heard that before. Or I have, if today was the day that it finally clicked for me. Right. So I would really encourage you, if you are talking about things in your content, or there's like things that you really, really believe about being a creator, that don't be hesitant to like say them over and over and over till you're blue in the face, because there is going to be that person who, you show up for your content and show up if you do live streams and things like that. You show up and do that, but lots of people don't. There's not, lots of people just come into your live streams. Maybe they're going to do it once a month or once every 6 months or whatever. And it's just that one time that they happen to catch your live stream that they heard you say that one thing that changed their life. That's actually happened to me before. Like whoa, my God, what is happening? Oh my! April got in the car and the my audio started playing. That was so funny. That's hilarious. Let me turn off Bluetooth. Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh, let me turn that off. Oh my God, that's so funny. April got in the car and then the Bluetooth turned on. Yeah. So just again, don't be afraid to like show up for your, show up for your followers over and over and, say the things that you really truly believe, because it's going to hit that right person at exactly the right time they needed to hear it. And that's also like one thing I've learned about, a lot of the courses and stuff that I've run is that, sometimes people are just not ready for what you're offering. And that's not a, commentary on your skills or your ability. It's just that they're not. There's a whole variety of reasons. Like the quiz or the survey that I just showed you. There's a whole variety of reasons that people choose not to participate. Maybe it's just not the right time financially. They don't have the the funds to do it. But maybe it's going to be in 3 months when you like launch the next one or whatever, right? So again, don't be like shy to continuously make your your pitch to your followers about why they want to do this particular thing. Yeah, anyways, if you have any questions about, again, I'll say this for those of you guys just tuning in, if you have any questions about brand partnerships or sponsorships, then definitely let me know in the chat. I'm going to take a swig. Brandon in the chat here. Oh, hey, Marcus from Switzerland. Thanks for tuning in. This is an interesting idea, Brandon. I feel like an untapped niche in editing courses is showing how to edit different styles of videos. A course on editing vlogs, another on product reviews. That's actually really interesting. I think you should dive into that one. Why not? Right? That's really cool. Like if you understanding all the different types of content that you can make as a creator. I think that's actually really fascinating. I've never seen a course like that before. Like editing styles seems pretty fascinating to me. That's actually, yeah. Why don't you tackle that one? That seems cool to me. Right. Because I think there's a lot of like, especially on YouTube, there's a lot of creators who are really obsessed with the craft of cinematography, of filmography, of like, videography, of just being a creator and all the different ways in which you can present information. That's the other thing too, is that like for me, like I present my information, my content in a very specific way. I don't go out there and do challenges. I'm not doing Mr. Beast style videos. I'm like doing interviews and I'm doing informational content. And yet there's lots of people there's lots of people doing vlog type content, or there's lots of people doing tutorial type content or this type of thing. So it's like, there's just so many different ways to present information in different ways. I think that's a really fascinating idea, Brandon. Oh my gosh. Marcus said, I heard from you about Amazon Live a few months ago, and I just signed up and was accepted to the influencer program, doing my first Amazon Live on Sunday. Any great tips? That's awesome. Congrats, Marcus. So first of all, Marcus, you are in luck because my YouTube video this week was all about Amazon Live. I released an entire YouTube video all about Amazon Live. So I talk about, like you said, how to sign up, how to do this, how potentially if you want to use external software like OBS or Restream. I don't go too much into the technical details, but I would definitely like go check out that video because I talk about Amazon Live quite a bit. And the first like tip that like the main tip that I would give when you're starting out is like, don't be too hard on yourself. Because in the beginning, actually the best tip that I would give is actually do a practice stream first. So they have a way in the Amazon Live Creator app where you can go live as a practice. And so no one will see it. And so you can go live, you can test your setup, and then it'll like save the setup or save the live stream archive. And then you can go watch it and be like, oh, like something doesn't seem right about that. Or let me change the positioning, or let me adjust the camera or the microphone or whatever. Definitely do some practice streams to get that dialed in. So that's number one, is like do some practice streams. Hey, Judith Seguro and Casey Casella, thanks for tuning in to the IG chat. Right now we're talking about, and Stacy 209, we're talking about, Marcus just got accepted into the Amazon influencer program, and he is doing his first Amazon Live on Sunday. So I was giving him some tips. And so the other tip that I would, there's so many things that we've learned along the way, is actually what we were just talking about like people dive into your live chat like in the middle. They have no idea what you're talking about. So that's something that we do very regularly on Amazon Live, is maybe every 10-15 minutes or so we'll say, hey, for those of you just tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in to Amazon Live. This is how it works. There is a product carousel below the video or on the side, depending on you're watching on desktop or mobile. If you click the product in the carousel, you can actually add the product that I'm talking about to your cart. And if you purchase it, I will receive a small commission. Another thing that you should mention regularly, Marcus, is please follow me, because every time I go live on Amazon, you will get a push notification in the Amazon app that I'm going live. So you really want to encourage people to follow you regularly throughout the video, because because when they follow you, they'll get notified when you go live. So so those are like kind of two major things that we've learned, is just like continuously beat the drum on that of like, please follow me, because you'll get more and more viewers. And then the other thing too is that encourage the other people that follow you, blast it everywhere on your YouTube channel, Marcus, or on LinkedIn, or wherever you're. I think you're active on LinkedIn too, because you do a lot of like corporate stuff. So make sure you're blasting this everywhere, that people know that you do these type of Amazon live streams, and that they can go watch you there. So on your community tab, etc. So just don't be shy to, like, we do it everywhere, like Amazon, or IG stories, like Facebook, like community tab. Whenever we go live, email blasts, like my wife has an email list, so we'll do email blasts. So yeah, keep me posted. Send me the link. If you schedule the link for Sunday, can you send me the link, because I would really like to follow you and watch your first live stream and cheer you on from the chat. Brandon said, Tech Audit TV, I suck at editing. Oh man. Okay. Well, maybe that presents a slight challenge to the editing course idea, but yeah, maybe there's someone else out there to make a course like that. There's one creator that I really admire. And I think I'm going to go ask him about that, Cody, because I think he would be like a great person to make a course like that. Yeah, O'Hannity said in the chat, yes, that was a great video, Justin, all about Amazon Live. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. John Chapman, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. So if you have any questions about brand partnerships, for those of you guys just tuning in, please let me know. Melody Johnson, what's up, Melody? Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, Marcus said, awesome tips. Thanks a lot. I learned so much from watching your Amazon stream yesterday. Awesome. Oh yeah. I saw you in our Amazon live chat yesterday. So thank you for tuning in. And yeah, I'm glad that you were learning some tips there. Yeah, that's another really great way to do it, is just like tune in, go to amazon.com/live and just start watching other people's streams and see kind of like what they do. That's how we learned in the beginning. That's how we learned that you could actually like pre-film stuff. That's what we do, is we pre-film footage about the items that we're going to be talking about, and then we overlay that footage on top of like us talking about the products. And so that, like, I feel like just takes our live streams to the next level. And talking about brand partnerships, that is like our bread and butter. And that's one of the reasons that brands hire us to do sponsored live streams, because they see our production quality. They see like, oh, like, wow, like you actually pre-film footage. Like we did a sponsorship with a robot vacuum brand called Uni recently. And we pre-filmed like a ton of awesome footage, like showing the vacuum on different surfaces, like showing how it picks up different items, showing the app. Like it's just all stuff that is just like really hard to do if you're like on a live stream and you're trying to do it live. Like, don't get me wrong. Like let me actually grab a product real quick. This product right here is a massager. This is the Renpho massager. So we did actually not, we realized that this was on sale because we did like a last minute live stream yesterday, and we were like, oh, this is on sale, we can talk about it, but we didn't have time to pre-film footage for it, so we just showed it live. So there is, and April actually did like a live demonstration. This is a massager, so it actually feels really good. It feels better when other people do it, but this is the Renpho massager, and so this is the kind of thing that you can do like on a live stream. But for example, because this is an easy thing to bring, for example, a robot vacuum, that's hard to illustrate on a live stream. Or clothing try-ons, like my wife does a lot of like clothing haul and try-ons and things like that, and so that's hard to do on a live stream as well. So there is a lot of things that you can do, but again, that's like next level. You don't have to do that right out the gates, and so that's like a really kind of important thing that I wanted to mention, is I don't want to intimidate people. Yeah. Oh, Marcus said the BRoll is impressive. I think I can recycle some footage from past product reviews, like a mic video test. That's exactly what we do, Marcus. When there's items that we want to talk about, and we have YouTube videos where we've like, even from our vlogs, like where we were like talking about a item or something, it wasn't even a review. We just like capture BRoll footage we download the YouTube video, cut out those like 30 seconds and use that as BRoll. Like that's valuable. That's helpful, right? So you figure out how you can repurpose footage that you've already done. Oh, and by the way, Brandon was saying, have you seen that YouTube is getting into live shopping like Amazon? Absolutely. I mean, pretty much every platform right now, Facebook is doing this. YouTube is doing this. YouTube is in a big way is investing in this. So yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see the live shopping wars and who emerges victorious. I don't necessarily think there's going to be a winner per se, but I do think this is something that's going to explode in popularity in the next like 1 to 3 years. And that's honestly one of the reasons why I did the video, why I made that YouTube video about it, because I feel like if you are someone who wants to create a sustainable income as a creator, that's what I said in the video, is like having a, you know, like eye on the horizon as a creator about what's coming down the pipeline, like live commerce, like live shopping, like shoppertainment, like some people like to call it, then this is something to consider. Aubrey, thanks for tuning in. Girls Guide to the Drugstore in the IG chat. Who is Manib? And Casey Casella said, I've fallen in love with editing. I film so I can edit. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, there's so much creativity that you can express with your edits. So that's awesome. Yeah, and one thing that Tech Audit wishes is, I really wish Amazon did a picture-in-picture with their streams. I hate being forced out of the stream when I click on a product. Yeah, that's one of the challenges I know, like from a especially if you're on your mobile device, you leave the stream when you click the product. So so that definitely is a challenge sometimes, but I know that they're trying to work on usability and things like that. I've actually been, I can't disclose it, but I've been on some like secret, product feature calls with the Amazon team about a lot of this stuff. And so I know they're working to kind of like take this, improve a lot of this UX related things. Yeah. So that's for sure something that I know they're thinking about. Oh my goodness. So like, it's quite hard to describe how stressed out I have been over the last like couple weeks, like leading up to the launch of the course. I had so much to do with related to the actual course sales page. So like when, you got an email, about the course, like you have to go to the course page and like read about it. So that's like one thing. The emails, like to, send out, you probably saw there was like a series of multiple emails that went out all about the course, which if D is still in the chat, helped me a lot with that. So like just making sure that those went right, making sure that all the infrastructure related to the course, so people could actually like purchase it and the transactions would go through. There's just like, I actually had some fancy like automations going on. So like if people visited the course page but didn't check out, I sent an email, like I did like some like fancy things on the back end to check whether they, like after 2 hours, I had like a timer, like if they hadn't checked, if they had visited the course page, but we're not like a student now, I sent them an email after 2 hours and I said, hey, it's like almost like an abandoned checkout. Like if you've ever gotten like an abandoned cart checkout email from like any random brand, like, hey, we noticed you added this shirt to the cart, but you didn't check out. You can still do it or whatever. Right. So that's what I did. I had like an abandoned cart email sent to people and said, hey, like, I noticed you didn't complete sign up. Like, is there any questions I can answer? Just hit reply to this email. So there's all like so many things that I did for this course that were just like, oh my God, like so stressful. And on top of that, we have streamed 5 times in the last week. 6 times in the last week over Black Friday and Cyber Monday for Amazon. So it is just like absolutely insane. I'm like running on fumes right now. So this weekend is it's going to be like a much deserved relaxation for me to try to press reset. Although I am getting my COVID booster tomorrow, so I don't know, I might be wiped out anyway. Hopefully not though. Hopefully it'll be fine. But yeah, so the last week has been pretty crazy. Hannity said, we're definitely looking into doing Amazon Live for Maya. If you don't mind me asking, which aspect of Amazon brings in the majority of income? Do they only offer paid partnerships once a certain threshold? That's the beauty of it, Hannity, is that you can offer, it's not Amazon offering the sponsorships. It's you. You are selling them to the people that reach out to you. So for example, if someone reaches out to Maya for a clothing haul or, sponsorship or something on her YouTube channel, you can go in the background then and like research whether that brand sells their products on Amazon, like Shein. I think Shein sells on Amazon, right? Or other brands or whatever. You can upsell an Amazon live stream into that sponsorship. Amazon doesn't have anything to do with the sponsorships that you do on your Amazon live streams. So as long as you disclose it, with FTC disclosure guidelines and say on the stream, hey, thank you so much to this brand for sponsoring this stream, or this portion of the stream. stream and then do the stream, like you're in compliance. So you can then upsell those sponsorships. Amazon doesn't have anything to do with it. So it doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't anything, right? So you are the one who controls that. And so, which I think is pretty awesome. It's just like YouTube, right? YouTube doesn't have anything to do with the sponsorships that you do. So Amazon is just another platform in that regard, or another social platform in that regard. And you can do sponsorships on there as long as you disclose those. Hey, Miss Shanae, thanks for tuning in. Tech Audit TV. How do you queue up your pre-recorded content? Do you make new scenes in your OBS with the files ready to go and then switch to them when you want to show them? That's exactly what we do. So so we did 6 streams in the last week, and there is so much prep work that we do. That's exactly why it takes so much time to do these streams, is that in advance of every live, we curate the carousel in order of exactly how we're going to show all the B-roll. So, let's say that we have, we're going to be talking about a vacuum and then an air purifier as the next item or whatever. In OBS, we have a scene. We use that specifically for this. We pull in all the pre-recorded B-roll in order. And so then, right, like the moment, and we have multiple scenes. So like we have a solo scene, of me. We have a solo, a cam of April. We have a split screen shot. We have like different scenes that we switch to throughout the live stream. But in one particular scene, like which is the A cam on April, we have all of the pre-recorded footage in there. And so then like when April's talking about the product, I click to show that particular clip. And then once she's done talking about it, I turn it off. And then we go back to split screen, or we go to the Amazon product listing and we talk about all the, different things on the product listing. So it's like, again, this is something that we've been doing this for a year now, almost every single week. And so we've definitely gotten a lot better at doing this seamlessly. In the beginning, it was very just like, okay, now we're going to go over here and do this. And now we're going to go over here and talk about this, right? It very much was like, but like over time, it's just like it's like anything. It's like repetitions, right? You do something a lot, you get used to it. Just like that spiel that you heard me say earlier, where I said, I say this thing. This is what I say. Thank you so much. Oh, and again, those of you who are tuning in just now, thank you so much for watching. If you're not familiar with Amazon Live, there's a carousel below the video if you're watching on desktop, or there's a carousel on the side if you're watching on mobile or below the video. And if you click out, you can actually add the product to carousel or to your cart on Amazon. And if you do end up purchasing it, we get a small commission, and we're so appreciative of that if you do. And also, if you've never watched an Amazon live stream, you can actually follow us. You can tap the screen and click that plus follow button, and every time we go live, you'll get a notification in the Amazon app that we are going live. But make sure you have your notifications turned on in your Amazon app, because you won't get the notification otherwise. So again, thank you so much for watching. There we go. There's the spiel. It's because I've done it 100 times. You probably know that, there's things that you say on your channel or on your content that you say over and over and over. And it just comes with repetition. So, you just got to get, the first live stream you're going to do is probably going to suck, and that's okay. You just move on and go to the next one. But again, one of the things that I said in my video about Amazon Live is that I think the most powerful thing about all this is that you now have a content format that people can basically essentially tune into your show. And the whole point of the show is to buy stuff, right? Which is inherently different than passively linking an affiliate link in your YouTube description box or in your IG bio, right? Or in your bio on TikTok. It's just inherently different because people are tuning into your show to watch you talk about buying stuff, right? So I just think it's like a very different experience. And again, this is absolutely massive. It has been in China and Japan and Asia for several years already. So I think it's only a matter of time before this, explodes in the West here. And so I think that jumping on the kind of bandwagon now and really, I mean, not jumping on the bandwagon, but getting it ahead of the bandwagon and really honing your craft is going to set yourself up for success as a creator. I'm very, very bullish on live commerce in general. And so I want as many people to know about it. I posted it in one of the, a Facebook group that I'm in. And someone was like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you like letting so many people know about it? And I think that that's like a very, that's a mindset of scarcity, I think, because I believe that the more creators out there creating really compelling content for live commerce, not just for Amazon, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or, Facebook, wherever you're doing live shopping and things like that, the better, because the more eyeballs, right? The more people paying attention to it, the more advertisers are going to start pouring money into this space, it's better for everyone, right? It's not a zero-sum game. Like I think that kind of, I have this saying where it's like rising tides float all boats. It floats everyone's boats, right? So the more that I can educate creators about this and the more people doing it, I think the better. So I just inherently don't believe in this idea about saturation. It's just not, I don't know. I don't believe in that. So I like to have an abundance mindset about this kind of stuff. So I just wanted to mention that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so and speaking of which, I'm really excited because of all the stuff that April and I have been doing on Amazon Live. We have a big interview with a pretty big outlet later today about that. About like our business, and a lot of it is going to be about Amazon Live and things like that. So when you put yourself out there as a creator, like sometimes people notice and they want to talk to you about it, and maybe you'll get some press for that. And that's what's happened to us. We had a reporter reach out to us about everything that we're doing. So yeah, I think it's pretty exciting to like kind of be on the cutting edge. And the other thing too is that, hey, happily ever Nancy, thanks for tuning in on the IG chat. That's the other thing, is that when you put yourself out there, there's always going to be a chance that it flops, and that all this investment and like time investment that you made, all this equipment, like we bought all these microphones, like all this stuff, could be for naught. Maybe Amazon Live shuts down in a year or something. I don't know. Maybe live commerce doesn't really catch on, and it's not something that we're going to be able to really do forever as creators. But that's just part of the risk that you have to take. Like here's a good example. Like, I don't regret a lot in my life, but if I could have gone back a year and a half and really invested a lot more time into TikTok, I would have done that, because I think that TikTok is a place where people have seen absolute tremendous growth. And especially for people who are helping like education related things around, especially like brand partnerships and stuff. You've probably seen other TikTokers talking about this stuff. Some people have like absolutely blown up. And so that was one regret I had, is I was really still very focused on YouTube and long form content and things like that. And so I look at live commerce in a similar way. I still think it's very, very early, and that's why we're jumping on it now, because I think in 2 years is going to be a lot more competitive. And so, not that that's a bad thing, but it is, I do think like being early on things like this as creators will behoove you. And so, yes, it's very possible that it won't work out. And it's like, it's like all this time we spent is for naught. But I don't think that. I think it's a high probability that it'll be successful. But if there are other things that emerge, other platforms, other formats, other things like that, all of a sudden, start growing in popularity, giving it a second look as a creator, who, especially if someone who, if you want to make a sustained income doing this, I think that's really a really important thing. I know so many people who never adapted. Like, they started on YouTube, they were very successful. Like, I'm speaking specifically right around the kind of family vlogger space, or like here's a good example, like toy channels, kids related YouTube channels. I don't think you quite have a comprehension about how much money those channels were making prior to like the, whole thing 2 years ago, like hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Literally. I know personally people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month doing toy channels, kid channels, like kids playing with toys and things like that. And they were pumping out 3 videos a day or whatever it was, just like crazy. Right. And then YouTube demonetized all of them with one fell swoop. So it's like, this is just like, and like those creators have never really been able to find success again. Like some were able to pivot and things like that, and I'm very complimentary of those folks. But if you're not like diversifying your business as creators, and you're relying like solely on the social platforms for like your, a vast majority of your income, that's like very scary to me. That's why I really do think it's important to kind of like, Hannity, I'll give you a big compliment in the chat, because Hannity has been on my live streams. When did you first start watching my content, Hannity? I'm curious. Can you let me know? Because the metamorphosis or the evolution that I have seen for you specifically, ever since I've known you, has been truly amazing. Like, you went from Maya, your daughter, helping her grow her YouTube channel. Now you guys have an email list. Now you're looking at like Amazon Live, you're doing sponsorships. Like, you are growing. Like, you are not just sitting here and being like, oh, like our YouTube channel is really successful, we're just gonna like sit there and like milk it. Right. No, like, I'm very impressed by like how seriously you're taking this and doing the newsletter and all these things, because that's how you build a sustainable business. That's how you set your daughter up for success. that's how you can help her achieve these really, exciting things that are happening in her life. So I just think that that's the way you need to look at it as a creator, is that you can't just kind of like rest on your laurels, especially like Instagram is a great example. Like, there's still like people out there who are just kind of like pining for the Instagram of yesteryear, the one where you could like get all sorts of views on your reels and your Instagram stories, and your in feed static carousel posts would get, reach a huge percentage of your audience. Those days are gone. They're gone and over with. And mourning them is not going to do anything. It's going to, it's really going to, take you having a long-term vision, and, really looking at your future and being like, okay, if I want to do this as, long-term as a creator, I need to be thinking about some of these things on the horizon. I can't just be, mourning what once was, if that makes sense. Yeah. And Hannity says, thank you so much. That means so much. I appreciate you and all your help. Of course, I'm so happy to help. I'm glad that I played a small role in your growth. Um, So yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you found value in this. If you have any final questions, drop it in the chat. But I think I have like a lot to do today. I know that I've been all the stuff that I was like, I have been planning, that's been on like my to-do list for a really long time, ever since I was trying to like get the course launched and all these live streams for Black Friday and all that stuff. I've been pushing everything to today, all my calendar items. It's like, right after it's like over this week, I have like all these action items and things that I've been procrastinating and put on the back burner. So I think I'm going to run. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I'll see you next week on Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. As always, I appreciate you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.